first of all, Jerry, for a bit of background, can you tell me about UK Cloud, when it was formed and what its purpose is?
So UK Cloud was formed in 2011, really on the back of the change in government in 2010, and the intent of the government then to try and really transform government services using digital technology. So UK Cloud was formed on the back of that. We undertook 22 out of the 26 digital exemplars that were run in that 2011-2012 period. So things like the infrastructure that underpinned you being able to change your driver's license details online, and the Met Police single online home and things like that. So and many of those exemplars that we took part in, we're still running with. So the company was very much focused on helping public sector transformation at that point. And since then, we just tracked everything that the public sector is doing in terms of moving from infrastructure as a service to platform as a service to software as a service, multi-cloud, private clouds, all of those types of things to adapt and change as the customer demand has changed.
Excellent. So expanding on that a little, how would you describe the activities of the company and its capabilities?
So you could look at it in three dimensions. So the first was we started off offering vanilla public cloud, just the same sort of thing that you'd get from Amazon and Google and Microsoft. And then we moved from that infrastructure as a service into platform as a service, and now into software as a service. And we do all three of those in different proportions. And then secondly, on the second axis is moving from public cloud to private cloud to community cloud to hybrid cloud. So sitting across multi-cloud environments and being able to manage those on behalf of the customer. And then on the third axis, thinking about all those services that you put on top of the cloud, where the customer themselves or their system integrator might or might not have the critical mass or the skills necessary to manage that cloud environment. And therefore, we would step in and do those types of services so that the customer can come to us and just get a rounded package of support in terms of their cloud provision. So the company over the last 10 years has moved in all three of those dimensions, and adapted the services as the customer demand has changed.
Excellent. UK Cloud exhibited at the DSCI 2019 Innovation Hub. What was your takeaway from that, and did you get any major wins from being there?
So I think, first of all, it was a really good opportunity to get the brand out there. We're one of those sort of hidden secrets, if you like, in the UK in terms of our capability. We often come across customers who say to us, "Oh God, we hadn't realised that the UK had a provider like you. If we'd known about that years ago, we would." And so the positioning in terms of the stand that we had and the area that it was sitting in, and the companies who were around about us, was ideal in terms of getting that sort of footfall, and almost continuous footfall of traffic all the way through the week. We also did some events before and after the normal day. We did a sort of drinks after the normal day, one day, for instance, just to get people to come and have a informal chat rather than feel as though they're under any pressure to be sold hard at. So we then developed a number of the leads that we got in the SEI, and have actually established quite strong relationships with some of the people that we talked to at that point. And so we've got a continuous set of engagements with some of those people that we met at the event itself.
Excellent. That sounds like it was hugely beneficial.
Yeah.
So this year you're going to be part of the Future Tech Hub. So why did you decide to exhibit in that particular hub, and what are your goals and hopes for DSCI 2021?
So I guess in some people's mind, cloud is here to stay. Cloud is passé. It is ubiquitous. It's there already. It's not really part of the future, but it is, when you think about the range of things that you might want to do in the future, partly driven by COVID-19 and some of the experiences that we've all endured or enjoyed through that process. So things like collaborative working environments. When you think about bringing teams together from all across the UK or internationally, having them sitting on the same sorts of tools, being able to talk together, etc., and doing that in a secure environment, rather than just using commercial technology, that is a massive thing for my sector and for the supply chain feeding into that sector.
Right.
So a really good example would be something like Team Tempest, where you're
Yes.
looking at collaboration across a range of industry partners, and that industry partner network will expand over a period of time. You could be looking at potentially tens of thousands of people all needing to collaborate together in a very dynamic fashion. And cloud would be at the heart of that. Cloud would be at the heart of the future of computational fluid dynamics, at the heart of AI, data analytics, all of those sorts of things. So that's why we see our place, rightfully at the center of that hub.
Excellent. That's a really good example. Thanks. So the Future Tech Hub this year, it includes innovation pods and cyber pods. Does this reflect a need for integration and cooperation in the defence sector to help face the threat in this information age?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it is a continual war when it comes to cybersecurity. It's one of those things where if the adversary gets that good, you need to be that good in order to defend yourself, etc. And it's a continual war of increasing capability. And so it's one of those things where you can't rest. But it also is one of those areas where the dynamic is changing every day in terms of where the threat is coming from, where your vulnerabilities are. And one of the things we are specifically focusing on is security as a service. So being able to put in place a highly secure cloud that not only offers you high degrees of security, but ensures that your data is sovereign in the process. So working our way through building a set of security services, things like HSM as a service, key management as a service, crypto as a service, secure VDI, secure collaboration environments, all those sorts of things, because you need a multi-layered approach to maintaining your security.
Great, thanks. So what are your thoughts on the new UK Cyber Force, and does it present any opportunities for you?
So it's obviously been one of those things that's been in gestation for quite a while. And I was fortunate to be involved in it in its very early stages in two of my former departments, so both in the intelligence community and in MOD, and saw a lot of the rationale, the thinking behind joining those sorts of things up. Quite rightly, we are in a multi-dimensional fighting space now when it comes to information superiority, disinformation, cybersecurity, etc. And it is right that in the UK we are coordinating our efforts, both defensive cybersecurity, but also offensive cyber in a much better way, and bringing the full efforts that we can, whether that is financial, commercial, technical, manpower, etc., to actually deal with those threats that are the highest levels of threat we can imagine. So what it does represent is an opportunity to think differently about how we do those sorts of things, how we do both the defensive side of things, but also the offensive side of things, and the opportunity to really capitalize on very early thinking, early prototypes, early technology readiness levels from small and medium enterprise companies around the UK to be able to feed into those sorts of things. But it also brings with it a challenge in terms of analytics. How do you get a complete picture of what those threats and vulnerabilities are around the UK, but also around the world? What are the ones that are current and active and posing the most threat, or the ones that are the crocodile nearest the canoe? And that means that you actually have to have big cloud platforms working at scale with analytic tools on top to be able to mine that information and give you the quality intelligence that you need. So certainly we see UKCloudX as being one of the people who would have much to offer in that space in terms of supporting the National Cyber Force.
Excellent, thank you. And can we expect any major announcements from UK Cloud at DSCI 2021?
Quite possibly. We are working to get ready for an announcement, if we can get all the things joined up, it will be a step change for cloud provision in the UK. It is something that we're really excited about. It's a new technology. We think it will give us a market leading position. We think it will be unique, not just in the UK, but actually globally. So we're working hard with a partner to try and put that in place, and not just the simple press release, but actually have something behind it that actually works and we can demonstrate. Excellent,
that sounds terribly exciting. So another thing that's terribly exciting is the integrated review is finally due for publication next month, touch wood. What are your expectations and hopes for data strategy within it?
So I think one of the key things with data strategies across government as a whole is that they're generally pretty sound strategies, but where they fail is in the implementation. Being able to drive those strategies into the various departments that they apply to, and really simple things like consistent data models, consistent data standards, consistency in the ability to integrate data sets together, etc., etc. And undoubtedly doing that in MOD or any other large government department is an enormous task. But Charlie, as the CIO for MOD, has started recruiting a team headed by Caroline Bellamy to really focus in that area. So I'm hoping that, given that they've got a center of gravity there in terms of people and a team and the data strategy on top of that, provided they get the buy-in across the other parts of the MOD, so the other frontline commands and top level budget holders, actually that should be a catalyst for making that data strategy real, and not just a piece of paper that everyone admires and says, acknowledges that it says good things, but actually turns into something that is implementable.
Great, thanks. I'm just going to round it up with a more general question. Is there anything else about UK Cloud that you'd like to let DSCI attendees and the readers of Global Defence Technology to know about?
I think it goes back to something that I jokingly said earlier on about us being best kept secret. We are a small company, relatively speaking, but actually, if you look at the number of government workloads and public sector workloads that we host, we are underpinning very large amounts of the government and local authorities, public sector generally across the UK, also into the health sector as well. We are continually improving our services, continually adding services on a month-by-month basis. And I think I would encourage people to look at our stand, look at our brochures, look at our use cases, and see the variety of things that we do. But also importantly, how we differentiate ourselves from the hyperscalers, how we differentiate ourselves from other suppliers in the marketplace, where we have got some really unique offerings that no one else can match.
Fantastic. And outside of your own involvement, what is there in this year's DSCI that you're really looking forward to seeing?
I think the thing that two things really for me. One is the diversity of capability that is on show at DSCI, but also the sort of the creativity. When you look at the application of things in the defence sector, and you can then see how that applies to a whole range of other domains. And so for me, one of the real opportunities is to not only meet people who come to our stand, but have the opportunity to go around other people's stands and look at what they are doing and think, oh, there's a collaboration that might be possible. we could host that on our platform, or we could use that as part of our service, or and very often it is unexpected things that you come across that you just think, oh, never knew that existed. That looks really good.